Hi, hello. Good morning, dear students. How are you all? This video lesson module 1 on metals and non-metals brought to you by Vignan Group of Institutions, Hyderabad. I, myself, Venkat Reddy, Peram, teaching faculty, Vignan Madinaguda. Dear students, before going to introduce the chapter which is meant for today, let me ask a few questions in order to test your previous knowledge. What do you say? Can I ask? Yes, good. What are elements? What are elements? Yes, you are correct. The pure form of matter which is made up of same type of particles. Correct. Elements are classified into how many types? Yes, good. There are 3 types of elements. Okay, what are they? Yes, you. Tell me the answer. Very good. Metals, non-metals, metalloids. So, metals, non-metals, metalloids. Yes, correct. Good. And my dear students, do you know what is this? Yes. What is this, dear students? Ring. Yes. Which is made up of gold. Whether gold is an element or compound? Yes. Gold is element. To which category does this element gold belongs? Yes. Wow, that's great. It is a metal. Good. And do you know one more element? This is, what is this called? This is also ring. But this is made up of another type of element. What is that element name? Yes, silver. Good. Now tell me whether silver comes under which category? This is also, yes, good, metal. So now in the construction department, in order to construct massive buildings, we required one element. What is that element? Wow, that's a great response. Iron. Now iron also metal. Now in our day-to-day life, if you come across different situations, every day, every second, every minute, we are taking one type of gas. We are breathing one type of element. Okay, what is that element? For our respiratory process, respiration process, we require one element. What is that element? Oxygen. Good. But basically, oxygen is an element. Okay, but whether it comes under which category? Yes, oxygen is a non-metal. And the major percentage of gas present in the atmosphere is nitrogen. Now tell me, nitrogen comes under which category? Yes, nitrogen is a non-metal. Now, you know, one type of gas is present in bleaching powder, which is generally used for disinfecting drinking water purification in order to kill the disease-causing germs present in the water. Now, that powder is called bleaching powder. In that bleaching powder, the real bleaching agent is what? One type of gas is present, and that gas is yes, chlorine. Yes, what is that gas called? Chlorine. And whether chlorine comes under which category? Whether it is a metal or non-metal? Non-metal. Now, my dear students, after all observing, you all are observing these examples. Now come to the conclusion that what topic I am going to present today. What chapter I am going to introduce right now. Yes, you are absolutely right. Metals and non-metals. So, today let us learn more and more information about chapter number 3 of our NCERT science textbook, that is metals and non-metals. Okay, so what is this chapter? Chapter 3. What is the name? Metals and non-metals. Metals and non-metals. Okay, my dear students. So this is very important chapter from board examination point of view. So listen very carefully. Wherever necessary, respond properly. Otherwise, try to listen very carefully. Okay? Now, metals and non-metals. So, especially in this chapter, the very first topic is there. What is that? What is the main concept? That first concept, what we are going to deal today, physical properties of metals. What is that? Physical properties of metals. But before going to physical properties of metals, let me explain something about metals and non-metals. No? Elements around us classified into mainly 3 categories: metals, non-metals and metalloids. Metals are electropositive, non-metals are electronegative. These are electropositive, non-metals are electronegative. Okay, because metals readily lose electrons. Non-metals are able to gain electrons. Metals are able to lose electrons. Non-metals are able to gain electrons. And metals are able to form cations. Metals are able to form cations, whereas non-metals are able to form anions. Okay. So, majority of the elements in this universe are metals, and very less number of non-metals are present. Majority of the elements are metals, and these metals find many applications in our day-to-day life. Both the metals and non-metals associated with our life, since it is an integral part or portion of our life. So, our life is closely associated with this chapter, metals and non-metals. Okay, na? And now, coming to the first concept. What is that? Physical, yes, properties of metals and non-metals. Physical properties of metals and non-metals. So this is the first topic meant for today's explanation, covered under 3.1. What is the subtopic number 3.1? Now, whenever we are thinking about physical properties of metals, in what way metals and non-metals differentiate? Metals and non-metals can be differentiated on the basis of their physical observations, physical properties. Now, let me discuss about the physical properties of metals first. Later, we'll go for non-metals. Okay? Metals and their physical properties. Now, tell me the first one. Metals are malleable. Metals are malleable. Do you know what is the meaning of this malleable word, which is very important? Yes, metals are malleable. That means metals can be beaten into thin sheets. The property which allow the metal to be beaten into thin sheet is called malleability. But for this purpose, you required some force. That force is applied due to hammer. Okay? So that's why metals are malleable. Once again tell me, what is meant by malleability? Metals are malleable. So malleability means the ability or the property of a metal to be beaten into thin sheets. And our kitchen utensils, if you take all the utensils are mainly because of this extraordinary property, malleability. And you know which element is highest malleable strength? The element with the most malleable character is gold. What is that? Element with most malleable character is gold. Highest malleability is a gold. Most malleable element, gold, and one more you can take silver. So this is about malleable. And what is the second property? Metals are ductile. So this is called ductility. Metals are malleable, metals are ductile. Do you know what is meant by ductility or ductile? The property which allow the metal to be drawn into thin wires is called ductility. Drawn into thin wires. And you know gold is the highest, most ductile element. And this is one of the amazing fact about gold, that from 1 gram gold we can make a wire of nearby 2 kilometers length. So 2 kilometers length wire is possible from just 1 gram of gold. So metals are ductile. And now metals possess metallic luster. What is that property? Metallic luster. That means shining. What is that? Shining surface in their pure state. Metals in their pure state possess metallic luster. Here metallic luster means having shining surface. Metals like gold, silver, etc. always possess metallic luster. Okay? And now coming to fourth property, metals are sonorous. Do you know what is meant by sonority or sonorous? Metals produce deep ringing sound when striking with hard substance. You know, school bells are made up of metals. Give reason. Because school bells are made up of metals, because whenever you are striking that bell with any hard substance, they will produce ringing sound. It will produce ringing sound, which is called sonorous. And this is meant for ringing sound. What is that? Ringing sound. And next, coming to the fifth one, metals possess high melting points and boiling points. Metals possess high melting and boiling points because most of the metals are in solid state. In solid state, atoms are tightly packed. If atoms are tightly packed, the force of attraction between the atoms are very high. That's why these metals possess high melting and boiling points. In order to break that force of attraction, you required more amount of energy. That's why metals possess high melting and boiling points. Now, let us move on to the sixth one. Metals are good conductors. Good conductors of heat and electricity. Good conductors of heat and electricity. For this, the best examples are good conductors: silver, copper, aluminum. Okay? So, silver, copper, aluminum are the best conductors. You know, electric transmission wires are made up of copper, aluminum. What is the reason for that? Because these are good conductors of electricity. And metals are good conductors due to one reason. Metals consisting of free electrons, and these electrons set into motion and capable to conduct electricity. That's why metals are good conductors of electricity. Okay. And one more thing, metals even conduct heat also. And best conductors of heat are silver, copper, aluminum. And for this particular conduction of heat, there is an experiment in our activity in our textbook. What is that activity? Once you observe this side. Now, this is about the stand to understand good conduction of heat. Now, with the help of this clamp, we are arranging one aluminum rod. What is this called? Aluminum rod. This is called stand. Okay. To this aluminum rod, with the help of wax, we are sticking one pin. All purpose pins are there. We are sticking one pin with the help of wax. Now, if you start heating the aluminum wire or aluminum conductor or aluminum rod from one end with the help of one candle or Bunsen burner, we are heating this side. Now, whenever if you start heating this one from one side, automatically what happens? The atoms present in this particular area will get heated up and transmit the same to other atoms. And that atoms transmit the same heat to other atoms. And after few seconds or 1 or 2 minutes, you observe that this wax melting takes place. This wax will melt and this pin automatically falls down like this. From this activity, what is the inference drawn? Or what conclusions you drawn? Means metals are good conductors of heat. You can take any one of the metal plate or cooking vessels which are made up of metal. If you once heat that metal, automatically that vessel getting heated up. Or otherwise, taking one spoon and introduce the spoon in the low flame of the Bunsen burner just for few seconds. Automatically, if you introduce one end, automatically what happened? The same heat transferred to the other end within fraction of seconds. So you just leave that spoon because of heat getting heated up, and your fingers will get hurt. Okay. So from this activity, we conclude that metals are good conductors of heat. And you know, in our household constructions, household circuits, we are using copper and aluminum wires. Even for electrical transmission also we are using copper and aluminum wires. Why? Because these metals are good conductors of electricity also. Okay. And after, if you take lead and mercury, these are poor conductors of heat compared with silver, copper and aluminum. So aluminum, copper, silver, aluminum, copper are the best conductors, and lead and mercury are the poor conductors compared with that. And metals are solids at room temperature. Metals are solids at room temperature. But all the metals are solid except mercury. What is that? Except mercury, which is present in liquid state at room temperature. Metals are hard. Metals are hard. Very strong and hard, having high tensile strength. Why metals are hard? That is due to metals are available in solid state. In solid state, atoms are very close to one another. But in this category, some exceptions are there. Later we will study that exceptions under separate heading. So metals are hard. And these are the various properties of physical properties of metals. Okay. And one more thing, here if you take electrical wires are covered with one type of plastic material. Do you know what is that? Yes, you are correct. That is PVC. Do you know the full form of PVC? Polyvinyl chloride. It's a plastic material. Why we are using this material about the bare wires? Because in order to avoid the electric shock. in order to avoid the electric shock. Now let us take the properties of non-metals. So properties of non-metals. These properties of non-metals are quite opposite to that of metals. For suppose, non-metals are neither malleable nor ductile, but non-metals are brittle. Non-metals are brittle. Brittle means what? Easy breakable. If you apply pressure or force on the non-metals, they can break down into pieces. And that property is called brittleness. Brittle nature. Neither malleable nor ductile. And non-metals are non-sonorous. They do not produce any ringing sound. And non-metals are not maintaining any metallic luster. They are non-metallic luster, not possessing any metallic properties of luster. And non-metals do not possess high melting and boiling points. Non-metals possess low melting and low boiling points. And if you take non-metals are bad conductors or poor conductors of heat as well as electricity, because non-metals do not contain any free electrons. That's why they are acting like they are capable, they are unable to conduct electricity. They are poor conductors or bad conductors of heat and electricity. And most of the non-metals are available in gaseous state, and few are present in solid state, and one element is present in even liquid state. Do you know the liquid non-metal? Yes, the liquid non-metal present in liquid state is bromine. BROMINE. The symbol is Br. This is the liquid non-metal. And non-metals are softer compared with the metals. So these are the important properties of non-metals. Now, while explaining about these metals and non-metals, here few exceptions are there. For suppose, if you take mercury, though mercury is metal, but this is the only metal present in liquid state at room temperature, but remaining metals are present in solid state. For suppose if you take bromine, bromine comes under liquid non-metal, and few elements are there like gallium and cesium, whose melting points are very low, that they will melt when you can keep them in your palm. If you place them on your palm, they can convert it to immediately liquid state. So what are those two metals? Gallium and cesium possess very, very low melting points. They will convert directly to liquid state from solid if you keep them on your palm. And you know, non-metals are generally non-lustrous, but there is an exception in the form of iodine with the symbol I, formula I2, which is a non-metal but lustrous. So what is the best example for lustrous non-metal, my dear students? Iodine. You are good. And now if you take carbon, basically carbon is a non-metal, but you know carbon is available in the form of allotropic forms like diamond, graphite, and diamond is one of the allotropic form of carbon, but basically diamond is the hardest natural substance known. So the hardest non-metal is carbon in the form of diamond. And generally non-metals are bad conductors of electricity. But if you take graphite, one of the allotropic form of carbon, which is a good conductor of electricity due to the presence of free electrons. And generally metals are hard, but metals like sodium, lithium, potassium generally so soft and possess low densities. And you can cut these metals with a knife very easily. That tells about these are the exceptions for metals. Okay, so that's all for today's class. Tomorrow we shall discuss about one of the very important and interesting topic, that is chemical properties of metals. Till then, my dear students, have a nice day. Thank you.